Growing up, I used to collect Pokemon cards like a lot of kids used to do in the late 90s. I had a decent collection, but for whatever reason, I never really stuck with it. Unfortunately, I remember my dad taking all of my cards, throwing them in a garbage bag, and that was the last time I ever saw them. So I try not to think too much about it, considering how expensive some cards are nowadays. But I always liked the idea of collecting the cards. I liked Pokemon in general. It was one of the things that I really gravitated towards was just the designs of the Pokemon, the artwork, and just having something tangible that you could look at and admire. The games were great too, and I really played more of the games than any other aspect of it. So as a result, I never really played the TCG that much since I didn't really have a lot of cards to begin with. Fast forward to 2020, obviously COVID hit, Pokemon cards just became this massive thing. Everyone's trying to grab them and collect them and flip them online. My friends were actually really interested in that, and they started buying a lot of Pokemon boxes and cases, and they kind of started collecting it all over again, and this got me a little intrigued as well. And even though I never went as deep into it as they did, I did eventually buy a couple boxes here and there and opened up some packs just to kind of relive that nostalgia of opening up Pokemon cards, reliving my early days as a first grader. But again, once that craze kind of died out, I stopped collecting. I have a binder with some cards that I recently pulled, maybe over the past 3 or 4 years, but I didn't really do anything beyond that. Still never learned how to play the TCG, and just figured whatever, that was just like a phase that me and my friends went through, and it is what it is. Meanwhile, earlier this year, Pokemon announced a brand new mobile game called Pokemon TCG Pocket. And at first glance, I thought, okay, this is another attempt at bringing the TCG in a virtual format and getting people to play it online. I know there was a couple of apps that already did this, both of which, from what I've heard, were not that great, but that's another video. And I thought, okay, maybe this one will be a little simpler and would be easier for me to get into. And then they started showing the footage of how you just basically open up virtual packs and collect cards virtually. And that really resonated with me, because I feel like the main reason I never really collected Pokemon cards or never really wanted to get too invested in it was the storage aspect of it, and how expensive it is too, honestly. To be frank, it was just a lot to keep track of. There were a lot of sets coming out, a lot of cards to collect, and eventually you just kind of run out of room. Hence why my dad ended up throwing them all out, because I just had them stored somewhere, I think in like a couple of drawers. I don't even remember if I had a binder. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, it was pretty bad at the time, but what do you want? I was like 6 or 7 years old. But this game is offering everyone 2 free packs a day, and a lot of that is just really appealing to the fact where I don't have to buy packs anymore. I could just get that dopamine hit virtually every day, open a couple packs, send pictures to my friends, maybe trade some cards with them, and still enjoy other aspects of Pokemon TCG. I know a lot of people who collect it physically probably don't like this aspect, and I totally understand. Tangible, physical objects are a lot better to collect and a lot more valuable than digital ones, because one day when they do stop running this game, let's say 10, 15, 20 years from now, the cards are essentially gone. They could be deleted at any time, so it's not ideal in that sense. But for someone like me, who's very casually into collecting Pokemon cards, I feel like this is exactly what I want. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of people within my generation, so the late 90s, who grew up with Pokemon, the same crowd that flocked to Pokemon Go when it first came out and it was like this massive global hit, I think a lot of people are going to jump on this game too, just to relive that childhood wonder of opening up those Pokemon packs. So this makes me think that this game is on the verge of possibly, I don't know if eclipsing Pokemon Go numbers, because those were insane in the beginning, but I think it could come pretty damn close. And I know maybe some of you might be thinking I'm out of my mind, but you really have to understand how powerful of a tool nostalgia can be. I think a lot of people nowadays are going to look at this and say, I don't really want to spend $5 to $6 on a pack, so let me download this free game, open up 2 free packs a day, and have a collection that still looks really cool to a physical one. A lot of the cards even have new animations, and the artwork is really neat where you can actually dive into the Pokemon card itself and a lot of weird things happen. It's really cool how they designed it. So that's obviously something that physical cards cannot do. So that's one perk, I suppose. And the way they kind of marketed opening up the packs by just like slicing it open, just swiping your finger across the screen, I feel like that's really like satisfying. It's just the same way that Nintendo has that Switch kind of clicking sound when the Joy-Con pops into the console. It's that same kind of, that's the same concept in my opinion. It just looks so much fun. I'm really excited to try it out. But what does this mean for the physical TCG? Since this game really is going to offer an option to play the games online, yes, it is kind of like a dumbed down version, or just TCG Lite, if you would call it that way. I'm curious how this is actually going to affect the Pokemon trading card game market, and if maybe a lot of people who, you know, were collecting physically but they're not like super invested in it, just decide to stop buying cards like that and just play the game this way. Maybe they got burnt out on collecting. Obviously there's a very dedicated fan base to the card game, the physical one, that is not going anywhere, and people will still continue to play it and they will continue to buy it. But I'm wondering if there will be more money in it for the Pokemon Company through TCG Pocket, since we all know that the 2 free packs a day is just a way to lure you in. You open up those 2 packs and you're kind of craving for more. There's obviously going to be a shop in there where, hey, throw down $10 and we'll give you another like 12 packs. Throw down $20, we'll give you 30 packs. Throw down $50 and we'll give you like 150 packs. Something crazy like that. I mean, I've seen people spend a lot more on mobile games with a lot less incentive, I feel like. So with the appeal of Pokemon and the TCG, I think this is like a surefire win for them. And I think it's going to make them a lot of money. I'm curious to see if eventually people might lean away from buying them physically only because of the ease and convenience of doing it all virtually. If you can play the game online, and this is for casuals, which I think is the majority of the group. For people who are just in it to collect and look at the cards and the nice artwork and just play online from time to time, I think this is actually going to benefit that crowd, and I think there's a lot more people that are into it than you would expect. I personally don't love collecting cards physically sometimes because it really is a pain to sort through everything and organize it all. And yes, it's nice to look at once it's all in there, but sometimes I just like it all like quick and easy. I don't know, maybe I'm getting old, but I think it's very convenient, and obviously the value is not there, but sometimes you don't collect cards just to flip them, you know, it's just to have something to look at. But personally, I don't really want to invest that much money on the Pokemon cards just to eventually sell them when I'm like 60 years old to make a big profit. Sometimes I just want to do it for fun, and this is like the best way to do it. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you for this game? Are you against it? Are you going to be playing it or not? Like, just let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.